Wow, where did y'all find that reel at? I forgot I did some of that stuff. Holy shit.
Well, hey guys, we back for another episode of Something for the Culture. I am your host, Jazzy J, and of course, I got none other than my co-host, my big bro, Knowledge Born. Hey, bro.
Peace, peace. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest tonight?
We got a special guest by special request. We have an icon in the cinematic space. Some of the greatest things you've ever seen. Some of the greatest ideas you ever heard put down from the mind to the pen to the microphone. He gave us the visuals. He took the thoughts and ideas and the videos that we had in our mind, because prior to some time, videos only existed in our mind, to our reality. So he gave us the cinematic soundtrack of what the artist was thinking on this visual canvas that captivated the world. So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some to others. Hip hop's greatest eye and one of the greatest to ever do it cinematically. J. Justice Smith, director, producer, the man.
I'm humbled. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. I really appreciate that. That's wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
So, Mr. Smith,
Hmm.
let's get into it. Okay.
Okay.
First off, it's a pleasure having you here, and in the
Pleasure to be here.
honor of royalty. I mean,
The pleasure to be here.
royalty, industry, hip hop, royalty.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So let me ask you this right off the bat:
Uh-huh.
how do you ensure that your videos you produce are engaging and visually appealing? And the reason why I asked you that because you've done some amazing work over the years, like 50 Cent. You've worked with none other than Mr. Petty himself. So could you
All
tell us?
right. You call him Mr. Petty?
Yes, Mr. Petty.
um, what was the question?
How do you ensure that your videos that you produce are
Well,
engaging and visually appealing?
a lot of times, it's crazy because I music videos and movies are different in a sense to where um music video, you got 4 minutes to sell an artist. That's the way you have to. When you're doing a music video, you're not a filmmaker. Let's get that straight. You are a salesperson that has a creative input. And I think when more music video directors start thinking like that, then they'll have some of the success like the E. Favera's and, some of my other cohorts. And I mentioned him because, when you see, you can tell he pays attention to what he's listening to and he puts a thought into it because the thing is, music video person is just a salesperson. You're not a movie person. You didn't make a movie. You became a filmmaker when you do a film. Until then, you got to look at it like I'm a salesperson. So how can I sell you? How can I sell you to the masses of the people who wants to see you, who wants to buy you? If it's a female artist, we know we got to make sure she look good, so her makeup got to be on point. So I always had the top makeup artist when I did videos. Always had the top DP because I come from a place before the digital era where film was unforgiving. So if you didn't have
Mhm.
everything on point, your lighting, you didn't know how to light women, because every complexion is different. And so a lot went into being able to sell a record to people. You got to think how I'm going to sell this. I like the song. I may not like the song, but
Mhm.
how can I sell it? Because they hired me to do a job. And my job is not to do a film. My job is to sell you as an artist and to sell your record, make people like it. So you dress it up. It's like having a girlfriend that ain't that attractive, but if you put some makeup on her and you get the, beat the face and the eyelashes and the lips is bumped and everything else is
Mhm.
good and the is pushed up, guess what? She coming home with a dude tonight.
That's a
right?
good one.
But if she leave the hair done crazy and the flip flops on, and I'll go to the corner store, ain't nobody checking for
Yeah.
her. So that's the key. That's stuff.
So how was it working with 50?
Oh man, let me tell you that I've worked with a lot of artists, but I have to tell you, working with Curtis is for me it was like working with a family member. You know, he's very smart, he's very creative, but the thing that he does that other artists don't do that I find out outside, excuse me, outside of a few other artists that I work with, but we're talking newer artists, not the older artists like in the Snoops and X's that I work with, but in his era, 50 generation, so he's 10 years younger than me, he listens. He does something that the people his age bracket, and when I say his age bracket, I'm talking the 59s, because when I'm 50, you know, I mean the 49s, because when I'm 49, he's 39, I'm 39, he's 29. So the people coming up in his era and his artists, the thing they don't do is they don't listen, right? And then what people don't get, a lot of times when he does stuff online, it's funny. I'll sit back and I watch it. This guy was raised by his grandmother and his grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
He's a different kind of raised. So working with him wasn't even like working with him, to be honest with you. It was just like we would come up with ideas, like from the Pimpin Curly to, you know, he wrote Before I Self Destruct in like probably 7 days. He wrote the script. He was in Shreveport. He wrote the script. He sent me the script. And he was like, read it over. Let me know what you think. So when he sent me the script, I read it over. And I think I made an adjustment to the end. And that adjustment was, we need to put a gospel song here. But what he understood when he wrote his first film was he understood he understood the impact of cause and effect. And a lot of time when you work with artists, you can't tell them shit. They know it all. He's one of the people that he understands he doesn't know it all, and he absorbs it. And once he absorbs it, it's his, and he runs with it. You know, we were shooting I Get Money. At the time, I didn't know he had been nominated. But at the time, we were talking about a Bugatti. He just bought a Bugatti. And at this point, I understood money a little better. And because I was going to meet him and Cons France when people weren't even thinking about it, I understood that the most expensive cocaine in the world was black cocaine. That's our talent, aka black talent. You sell it across the pond for a handsome ransom, and guess what? You ain't going to jail for it. So all I did is brought that to his attention on the video set. I said, you can spend a fraction of that on a movie, and you're worth this much in each country. And you know, like anybody else, you just figure it went in out one ear and out the other, and it didn't. It didn't. He was like, I want to go to edit with you. So we went to the edit, and then we started to formulate, you know, a relationship as far as understanding. And then before I knew it, we talk every day, and we get into conversations about film and things of that nature. He would pick my brain, then he would come back, he would give me some knowledge. And then at one point, he understood that I had all these gifts, but I didn't have the gift of business. So I was in the Lionsgate meeting when he did it because he invited me as a black man to watch. I wasn't directing it. Jesse Terrell was actually directing the project, but he came and picked me up at my sister's house in the valley and took me to the meeting. See, these are a lot of things people don't see or they don't know because they see the trolling, but they don't know the things that he's done for people.
Right.
And that's not going, if he fuck with you, he fuck with you, period. Like literally he could have called me in to testify with the headphone thing because I was I had nothing to do with it. I walked in the office, he said, yeah, come here for a minute. I said, what's up? Sit down. And I listened to the whole deal. He was trying to make sure that I was educated because he understood, even as a brother that was a little older than him, there was a lot of things I was missing because we come from the same place. We come from the same rug. We come from the same dysfunction, but we come from the same love. We both grandma raised, so you know it's a thing there. You tough for the streets, but your compassion and the compassion you have people comes from a real place, comes from your grandmother. You know, things that I've seen him do things that ain't even on record. Now people see recording stuff. Now I literally seen him. And if we hear this, he don't even know I know this. I seen him take a handful of money like this in the trailer, motorhome. We in Louisiana working, and he just signed Kid Kid. And Kick his mom and them was in the trailer. And we talking, everybody chopping it up. You know, I'm South man, I'm the street, so I'm no matter where I'm at, I'm looking. If I'm in the motorhome, I'm watching outside because I know who I'm with and I know how the hate go. And I look, and I mean, I don't know how much money it was, about that big of a wad. He just slides to his mom, like under the, like slide it to her. Like the mom taking, you know how the old women pushed it up under the boob. So much, honey. You know, so you hear the other stories, but ain't nobody doing that to your mother. You just met your goddamn mother. Ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody walking through the projects handing money out in Louisiana like he was.
That's true.
They're not doing that. You know, when I did the movie for him, yeah, I did the movie and it was, we had his love, but people didn't see that he gave me $100,000 behind the scenes to make sure I was good. And I was like, yo, he said, I can't see you fucked up. I don't know how you survive, but here. You know, so it's shit like that people don't see. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when he troll people online, I laugh at it because it's funny. And it's probably his way to release certain shit. Because you got to understand one thing. If I shoot you 9 times because I don't want you to be successful, that's a fuck you. That's hate. What kind of fucking hate is that? How could you not have PTSD as a human being when people that you love has mistreated you or somehow betrayed you? And you know what? Betrayal is unforgivable. You don't see God and Jesus sitting next to each other.
Right.
Do you? You really just don't. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of time when people say, I've had people call me and ask, how is he with business? He's a businessman. He fair. As long as you loyal to him and you in his camp, you ain't nobody, you ever heard anybody in his camp call and say they was broke?
No.
Huh?
No, absolutely not.
You ever hear Lloyd Banks say he broke?
Nope.
Yayo will kill your whole family for him. None of that.
That I heard.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know Uncle Murder. Uncle Murder's a good brother. I know Uncle Murder when he was with Rough Riders, right? Stuff didn't go right. 50 said, yo, I like him. He's loyal. He left here doing okay and came back a millionaire.
That's just true.
People ain't talking about that.
Yeah.
There's not one artist he's ever touched that has never touched that kind of money. So when I hear people say this shit, I'm just an older guy and I just got a lot of common sense. And I've been with them all. From DMX to the best R&B right down the line, to the worst artists to the best artists, from the core megas who you see people shit on, right to the 50s who just, he swing his sword different. You know, some people want to be humble and his whole mentality is like mine. You right, I'm scared of 2 people, myself and God, so fuck everybody else. You in my way, get out the way. You know, and God don't make mistakes. You know, there's a verse in the Bible that says God will prepare your table before the eyes of your enemies. Where all his enemies now?
Right.
We're all his enemies now. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. We're all his enemies. You know, and when you think about it, it's ridiculous because we all from the same fucking. We all from the same man, but that's black people, man. We can organize. We can't organize. We can't even organize crime. We don't even have a syndicate. We look at each other, we turn our faces up, we allow each other to hate on each other, then we hate on one another. And one thing, when you grandma raised and your grandma you every day, even when you ain't there, and she praying for you when you in jail, when you out of jail, when you in the street, that's God right there.
Yeah.
And no matter what you do, until God say, you ain't going nowhere. There's a lot of truth in the lyrics of rap songs sometimes. Just don't pay attention.
That's true. I want to tap on because you mentioned another great man, may he rest in peace, DMX. Now, how was it working with the dog himself?
Let me tell you something. Working with him it's like working with Curtis. The only difference is one just had a problem with the drugs and the other one is coherent. Both got beautiful hearts, beautiful person, You know, last time I worked with X, I'm actually working on a piece now called My Last Ride with X. And because he gave my first platinum album, you know, in my career was with DMX, which was Rough Riders Anthem. And so it was real cool working with him. And it was like working with a family member because, you know, we like had a running thing because we wouldn't see each other. But so, you know, after things started changing in the industry and things went apart, you just don't see each other as much because it ain't as much work. You ain't doing the video things, you know. So we had a thing like every time we see each other, we take a picture because I never took pictures with him before that. Besides some stuff that somebody might capture, you know, in the earlier day. So we see each other, we take a picture. And the last time I seen her, I was like, oh, we got to take our picture. And we was in Georgia. But we were stuck going to set for like an hour and a half. We were lost. And we were laughing in the car because I was reminiscing about old shit. He was like, you snitching now. You know, so it was just a real good. We didn't even realize we was lost for an hour and a half because we were joking that much in the car. And that was the last time I didn't know that was be the last time I seen him, but we actually talked about doing a movie then called The Bully Gang that he and I were going to do based on conversations we had about childhood and things of that nature. And some things happened on that set. I was a consultant. That's why I did it, because I worked he asked him to bring me as a consultant. And so we had a conversation and some things happened on that set, which literally would have changed my life. But because he was able to talk to me in a certain way, you know, respectable, he stopped me from he stopped me from doing something that I already made a decision to do. And like, so that's my last memory of him, not knowing that I wasn't going to see him again or that would be the last time. And I just felt like at that particular time when everything was said and done, that was probably his last deed. Because he had talked to me. We would be having this interview right now. Yeah, he's doing life in prison. Because I just come from a place when a man threatens your life, you don't walk away from that. You don't allow him to walk away from that at all. Period. Yeah. It's just where I come from. You don't get to threaten my life and walk away. Because guess what? You're probably serious. Because you got the balls to say it to my face in front of a crowd of people, then guess what? There's one or two things. You either a coward or you that bold.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm not going to wait around. And so he and I had a conversation because that's what had happened. And he broke it down to me in a way that made a lot. Ever since then, you know, like he said, don't let the moment change the rest of your life. This moment can change the rest of your life. Think about it. The pride, he said, I'd be mad too. It's your pride right now. It's your pride.
I mean, you're absolutely right. He had a beautiful soul. We had brief conversations. He was actually supposed to come on here when he first got released, and you know, through scheduling, it was just so hectic, but beautiful soul.
Yeah.
You
I got
also
like a lot of platinum albums of that. He's the one that, if you look behind my head, right, it's my first one. But it was just a connection with him. From the first time I handed him the Rough Rider treatment, me and him just had this Kendrick soul connection, you know. I understood him, you know, and maybe because I grew up in a family of such dysfunction, you know what I'm saying? Like I had an uncle that did 25 years that was drug induced and just, he was a straight killer, you know. Then I had an aunt who helped raise me, who actually passed away. And it was crazy because I haven't worked with Curtis in years, but my stepmom at my wedding, he was like, you don't remember Sabrina? I was like, nah, I don't remember his mother. And she was like, his mother used to hang out with your aunt. They sold drugs together. But I didn't, you know, I'm 10 years older than Fish. So, you know, then the correlation, I see my auntie and she hanging out with another, you know, one chick. Hey, how you doing? And I keep it moving.
Right.
I joke a little bit. And I never correlated, never even put the two together. All the time we worked together and things we've done. And we've had deep conversations that I wouldn't even share that were personal, but it's never come up because I'm not like I'm cool with my family, but they see me here and there. So, you know, the conversation didn't come up until my wedding. And then my stepmom said, "You don't remember his mother?" I was like, "Mother who?" And then she reminded me, I was like, I didn't know that was his mom. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because his mom was cool as shit. You know, after my stepmom told me who she was, and now I remember her coming to the house a few times with my auntie, I'm like, oh, she was not really nice. You know, because my auntie used to hang out with some pretty women. So, you know, my auntie was like a thug. She was she gave birth to my cousin at 15, and she was a member of 16, and she was the lead of the female Seven Crowns. She was a gang member. So yeah, I come from some of that stuff. So I think that's what actually, you know, made me more adaptable to people like, you know, DMX, 50 Cent, you know, like the Locks. A lot of people I work with that really come from the gutter to get it from there. You know, they get it from there just by your conversations with them. You know what I'm saying? People that I relate to, you know, Sibo, who I always tell people he's like the West Coast version of 50, like, you know, really dope. I remember when Sibo gave me my first $100,000 video. And I remember when they, you know, they prep you because they think I'm like this director dude, you know, this like nerd. And they go, this guy, oh, he's Crip. So don't look him in the eye. Type relate, you know. I said, oh, all right. And me and that man friends for that's my boy to today. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, all people want to do is be treated with respect. No matter about the accolades, no matter what they done, they want to be treated with respect. And the more humanizing it is for them, then the better relationship. You know, listen, me and Curtis, I've driven Curtis I've driven 50 to Kennedy Airport truck. Just me and him. Right? That's normalizing to him because that's what you right, man, right past the same hospital to save his life, right on out. And I remember Bruce saying, I said, man, I know all the shortcuts. It ain't a shortcut here, I don't know. So, you know, things like that were like a blessing because I was able to work with artists like him, Snoop, a lot of artists that, you know, doing my music video career that, you know, was like just really working with, you know, your friend, your neighbor, your brother, your homie, somebody you was really tight with. And you become closer with most, you know, with some more than others. You know, I just never was a person that, you know, some people will work with the artists and then they want to be up under their ass all the time. You know, and that's like just not me. And it ain't a pride thing. It's just that if I'm not invited, I'm not gonna invite. You know, and I think that's what made me encouraged because he was the first artist. I would go to his house. Yo, Jay, what you doing? Come to the office. Yo, Jay, what you doing? Do this. Yo, Jay, what you doing? So it was personal. We had a personal relationship, and if anybody, I tell people this all the time. If you get a chance to sit in a room with him, he's probably the wisest young man you ever gonna meet. Having a conversation with him is like having a conversation with his grandfather. The Pisces, you know, they don't forget nothing. They got that elephant memory. So everything his grandfather poured, so you know, yeah, my grandmother that raised me, same thing. She's July 14th. So, you know, everything you pour into a Pisces, they regurgitate. They be sitting there like
we sponges. We soak it all up.
Soak it. There you go. And he soak it all up. And you give it to him and it makes sense, then you'll know he listened. If it don't make no sense, he got this look when you say some bullshit. Hey, get out of here with that bullshit. So I've seen him do it to people, you know, like you be like, and I've said, hey, won't you give something? That's not what he do, you know. So he's good. He has a gift. He knows talent, you know, and he's giving opportunities to a lot of folks, man. Probably more than anybody's ever worked with. He's probably given more opportunities, you know.
No, that's right. Born, you had a question for him?
Well, I want to personally thank him First, I'm gonna say 50 is a Cancer. That's the other water sign. So his relationship with House and family and him and Inspector that got the same birthday. So that level of stoicism that's there is there, but the way he communicates in a way where you could tell he's always thinking. So a person who's predisposed to feeling, you're gonna know how he feel, but when he speaks, you're gonna hear how he thinks. That's something different. That's something.
Oh yeah, he's definitely old school cut. Like don't let his kindness fool you. Hey boy carry a can of ass whooping in his back pocket. He is he listen, he gonna hug you like your grandma and whip your ass like your grandfather. Like like it's some stories I can tell, but I won't tell that.
Right.
Yeah, you know how they say the mob take care of their own? You step out of line and they take care of their own. Yeah, he got a mentality like that. Like, you know that old mentality? I'm gonna take you home with your grandfather whip your ass. Yeah. So yeah, he has that, you know, and like I said, man, I'm not surprised at anything. And the fact that he can move like he moves is astonishing because, man, there's a lot of people that he's looked out for, man, has done some real grimy shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm talking still a whole bunch of shit that people don't know about that he just keeps to himself, you know, and you know, and people when he does these little lawsuit things, people go, oh, but some of these motherfuckers deserve to get their ass sued.
Yeah.
I want to thank you real quick before I ask this question. I want to thank you for a couple of videos. Okay, I want to thank you for a couple of videos that changed my life and changed the game. Okay, I want to thank you off the rip for Miss Fat Booty. Okay, sir.
Okay. Number one,
sir. Right, sir. I want to thank you. You understand what I'm saying? I want to thank you for Erick Sermon's video, Just Like Music, because that space, the way you brought that track that was already to life, is another. That's another. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, buddy, who sing that little line? He's like, life. When he did that, life. That's what you did to that right there.
Yeah.
So to resurrect that kind of feeling where you in love with the music again. You see what I'm saying? Visually, you gave us another love for that. You understand? And I'm a Wu-Tang head, so thank you for I got my Uzi back. You understand? Thank you from the depths of my spirit. I was overseas in Germany. Right? Before I came back to America. And I said, yo, what is this? You understand? Like I heard the album, but I'm seeing it. I'm at somebody's crib. They going crazy. We going nuts in that joint. Like I got my Uzi back. You understand? Like we ain't have no Uzi, but we wanted to get it back. You understand what I'm saying? So you gave us that.
You know what's so funny about the Wu-Tang? We were in the same building in Manhattan. My production office. I used to work, God rest him, man. I worked with some really dope Russians, man, that really held me down. It was a Russian editor, by the name of Allstar, rest him. He's the one who edited Rough Riders Anthem, but we were in the same building. And so RZA was on one floor and I was on the other floor. And so we worked with them. I did Legacy, Timbo, when the flying saucer crashes into the World Trade, before the World Trade. So they already knew what I was capable of. And now one of my mentors, Lamont Liquid, love Lamont. Lamont taught me a lot of stuff in the earlier days. Really dope filmmaker, independent filmmaker now. So Lamont was a video commissioner over there at the time when they were closing it down. That was their last album. So he calls me. He goes, hey, you want to do Wu-Tang? I said, what? You want to do Wu-Tang? I said, you want to do Wu-Tang? Yeah.
Is that a question?
You know, like contemporaries of Wu-Tang, like Timbo King and stuff, but the actually the Wu last album on, So he gave me 2 videos. He gave me both of them back to back. So what we literally did, we did something that never was done before. We shot both of their videos straight through. So we literally booked a 24-hour shoot. And I shot both videos for 24 hours. We started at like 8 p.m. with Uzi. And then we finished with the Redman joint like the next morning. And dude, when I tell you, it was like experience like no other. It was movie type shit going on. But yeah, they was the Wu-Tang. I love them, man. They all good people. all good people. I later on worked with, Capadonna. I did the supermodel 50 in Miami with him and Ghostface. So I worked with Ghost. They're good people, man. Really good. They really bunch of brothers that like really good. They represent each other well, and they represent the culture really well. And they're individually talented is incredible. From Meth right on down, they all dope.
Thank you for the Outlaws video, Baby Don't Cry.
Oh,
that was
Hold
a
on,
rough
don't.
one.
Memories.
And this one too, bro.
Yeah.
Don't forget about him.
Look,
That's my Gemini brother.
Look, Gemini's in the building. You already know. You
That's
understand
it.
what I'm
Don't
saying?
forget about TuPac.
I tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you a story, which I wish, and Benny's my man, but I know he didn't have no control, really, like people think he did over the biopic, because Benny's actually a dope filmmaker. But when they did his biopic, they didn't do the right way, because, like, if you go back to the essence of him, right, where I'm from, right, you heard about Slims and all that, but there used to be a group called Oasis too, right? It was Mark Skeet. If you listen to Drink Chant, you hear Steve Stout talk about Mark. Discovered a lot of people. Steve, myself, Mark is like my brother for real. Hype. So with Steve Stout, a guy named Shy, right, from my hood, and Ed Lover was actually the security guard, but Ed Lover played the sax in this band they had called Oasis too. So they were like musically talented, these gifted. And so Shy and Shock G, God rest the dead, were like this. And in Philly, Shock G and Shy had a conversation, and Shy said, yo, this kid Pac is nice. See, nobody even knows those stories. This is real hip-hop shit. He said, yo, Pac is nice. And Shy, I can get Shy right now. Pac is nice. And Shock G, right now, I'm not dead. They telling me the story because Mark and them, this is what they do, right? I'm doing some other shit at this point in my life. I ain't really doing what they doing, but so I know all the stories and the backstories because these are friends of mine. And when they got back to, Oakland, he gave them the track All Around the World. And the rest was history. You know what I'm saying? Right. And those are the things I think that when we represent our legends and hip hop, that we have to go back and we have to tell those stories, Well, it was an honor for me to do the Baby Don't Cry because his mom actually commissioned that to me, God rest her. And when it was done, she was in tears because they took it to her and they called me like she was in tears because she was like, I was the only one that was able to capture him and the essence felt warm and good without, distorting his image. Because I just used my brain and I took images that were already there and I just learned to time them to make them make sense, And then I have a relationship with the Outlaws from, prior to that. So it was like a no-brainer. And it's funny that you mentioned Miss Fat Booty and that because I did Miss Fat Booty, right, with Mos Def, right? It's like this best video ever, they say.
Yes.
I agree.
Miss Fat Booty drops, and 2 weeks later, the head of Interscope calls me. He called and said, hey, can you come to Interscope? We want you to write the TuPac treatment. Because they wasn't releasing his music. But he was so smitten by the Miss Fat Booty video, the creativity of it, and the homeboy. Because I didn't tell nobody the secret, but that's just homeboy fonts. And I had a special guy when he edited, he just put the homeboy fonts over it. You know what I'm saying? And like I've always been a person that tried to help other people up, this editor wanted to direct. So in order to help him, I was like, you know what? I'm going to show you some love. I'm going to put down at you, even though he didn't. But, sometimes I know how hard it is in his business. And he ain't black or white, So I tried to help him out, which kind of backfired on me a little bit. Because then he went around trying to tell people that he did the video. So, you can't even help people sometimes. So, but yeah, that was crazy because one of the Miss Fat Booty was the reason why they called me for the Pac video. And like I said, they already knew me. So that's dope. Y'all know my work, huh? Oh shit.
Your work speaks for itself. And you have sort of a signature that's not duplicatable. So you know what I mean. But me
Yeah,
trying to
I
articulate it to it, like, yeah,
no, I know
but
what
you
you said.
have a
I've heard that.
signature that's yours. It's
Yeah,
yours.
Right.
and you know actually where that comes from, and I got to give him a shout out. And I love his brother Erick White. I don't know if y'all familiar. Erick White, really dope director. He's actually Hype Williams' nephew, but Erick White is a beast. And one day we were sitting on set, and I was going to do a Marvelous video. We were actually on, I think we were on a Missy Elliott set. Hype was doing stuff. I was sitting there because I would go on set all the time because I'm a watch and a learner. And I would just sit there, and me and Eric would have these really dope conversations. And I said, yo, I'm going to try that speed change shit. Eric looked at me. He said, everybody want to be like that. He said, man, stay in your own lane. You got your own creative energy. Showcase your shit, Jeff. Create your own lane. And when he said, I got up, I never forget, I got up with that in my mind, and I got on a plane with the California. I did the Marvelous video, right? And that was it. Everything I was, let me unlock the creativity within me, because every song tells a different story. Every song has a different heartbeat. Every song means something different to everybody. And so you got to find, like when I did Avant Separated, I came up with the concept in the studio when they first put the song on, right? Because it just reminded me of some real ghetto project hood love shit. You know what I'm saying? Every time I see you, I get a bad vibe. This sounds like a chick in the neighborhood that you can't get enough of because she not gave you some coochie, and you just like, oh my God. I'm going back.
It did.
I burnt my clothes up last time, but I'm back over there.
Yes.
So I would draw from stuff like that. Rough Riders Anthem, because I used to race motorcycles on the Condor. Everybody that came up in Queens that knew Burger King Wednesday night, it goes down. 190 miles an hour, it ain't nothing.
Let me tell you something. For that Rough Riders video, for me personally, because that was especially by the bridge, because that's right, my grandmother's house right there. When that scene in particular, I was so hyped. You understand me? When I seen you that in the first drop, like, what, these niggas is over here, like hype. Like, you really captured that Hunts Point area, because not a lot of people know that area if you're not from there. But you really captured that area because that goes on over there.
Let me give you a full circle moment. My freshman year in high school, I did 2 weeks in high school, and the rest of that, I was locked up in Sprofford Juvenile Center. At that point in my life, I was either going to wind up dead in prison. People knew I wasn't going to never do drugs because I hated drugs, but I smoke some weed now. And so when we went to that area, because Sprofford Juvenile Center is a hunt point right in that area, I purposely picked that because Sprofford Juvenile Center, that area, that Hunts Point, that saved my life. You understand? I'm a 13-year-old kid with a 32, and I'm robbing people. And I'm robbing the people that I think ain't going to the police. That's whoever's selling weed on the corner. So when I got snitched on, they sent me to Sprofford Juvenile Center, and that was God changing my life. You couldn't tell me that Joaquin, who I met in Sprofford Juvenile Center years ago, would be the catalyst to be like, nah, this guy's the guy that's going to do Rough Riders Anthem. So when we went back to Hunts Point to shoot all that stunts, and I got red flagged in New York for 3 months after that video because we literally blocked.
Yeah, I heard about that.
We blocked it because I wanted to get a plate shot. Because, like I said, I was working with the Russians. They were advanced. They said, get a plate shot of that wall, and we'll put the X poster up there. Like it was there, like it was a billboard. So we literally stopped the whole parkway. We came down to Bruckner, and with bikes, if you know what you're doing, once the bikes slow down, the traffic slows down. And the more sea of bikes, the easier it is. So once the sea of bikes slowed the traffic down, then we let Wink come straight through the middle. We shot that. Let me tell you how crazy. Don't ever do this at home. Let me tell you how stupid we were. This is when you know you a guerrilla filmmaker. We were on a 2001 expedition. Or was it a 2000? Whatever. It was not even an expedition. It was expedition. It was Joaquin's truck. The DP who's is a Emmy Award winning DP now was Greek. Slim. We tied him to the top of the truck with belts that you put on your waist. I'm on one side with the running board. Joaquin on the other side. We both well over 200 pounds. And we holding him and we going down to Bruckner doing 80 miles an hour. Only God is the reason why we telling this story. That's the most insane shit to ever do for you. Like, ain't no shot worth it. Now all you got to do is do this traffic, put a drone up and shoot that shit. We was out there with a Bolex. We talk about camera, no digital. Bolex, where halfway down, you run out, you got to flip it on the truck and keep shooting. That's how he captured it. That's why it's different from anything. That's why I just walked a different line from people. Because people will call me, yo, I want something like Rough Riders. Nah, can't do that. Yo, I want something like Down Bottom, Drag On. Do you niggas bust your gun? Nah. Yo, I want something like Avant. Nah. I want something like Gay Key Sweat, Dave Hollister. Nah. Let me hear your music. Let it speak to me. What's gonna sell you? Because you ain't the same artist as everybody else. Right. They used to have a problem with shooting Lil Mo. Oh, because Lil Mo built different. You know, she like 5'0" but her legs look like they belong on a supermodel, and her ass would look like they belong on a taller girl. Her girth is like, and then she got the head. So you got to shoot her different. You got to figure out the beauty angles on her, right? She's not an ugly girl. She just built different from other women. So what I did, I remember Keith Sweat was like, man, how we going to do this? You did the song with a dumbass. Let me figure it out. What you do? I come up in a house full of women. You know, you learn beauty. Every woman looks good laying down. And if she got long legs, you sit her down. And if you sit her down and bend her over like this, you don't realize how short her girth is. And you shoot on a different angle so that way you capture the beauties. Every woman has a beauty. She got to capture the angles on it. And so I learned that, you know, through music videos, through talking to people, through allowing myself to be, you know, a student. Teach me about makeup. Teach me about lighting. Teach me about this. Teach me about that. Because I come from the era where you couldn't do it by yourself. So you had to learn it because you had to deal with people sometimes that you couldn't afford to pay. You couldn't afford to pay the Malik Saeeds. Right. But you learn from the Malik Saeeds. So you can go back to your little tribe and be like, this is how we're going to do it. But this is what so-and-so taught me. So that put me in a position to do play things like Miss Fat Booty, which was one-off, you know, and people not going to get that, you know, because it was the way, you know, it's a one-off and it's a one song. And a lot of things, even Wu-Tang. We got my music back.
That was my joint, man. I'm telling you, I was like, yo, that was crazy. So I want to ask about transitioning from the greatest eye in hip hop to working in the film industry and getting your crack. Like, what was that spark like? And then what was the mental transition that you displayed earlier? You said, okay, going from the salesperson to this now. What was that shift like? And
well, because I've always been able to tell stories, like my English teacher in high school, and I went to like Andrew Jackson High School, right? So it wasn't, but I graduated, you know, student athlete, even though I went through all the hardcore street shit, but I always believed in education. I always believed in bettering yourself and being smart. And so I excelled in English and creative writing just because I was creative, right? This is how, after I took a course at psychology at Hunter College, and this is how I come to the conclusion: a creative mind and a criminal mind is the same mind. Yeah. It's just the decisions we make. You can make a decision to rob the bank, or you can make a decision to write the bank robbery and sell it, or do it and make money. The choices we make. So I earned that. I knew that, and this is why I played football and all that to get out the neighborhood. But once football became no longer a reality of me playing professionally, and I didn't think about coaching at the time, even though I coached later on, I kind of just fell into doing whatever was going to do to survive. But then, in '93 at the BRE, at the height of the hip hop evolution, really, Puffy just got his deal. I bumped into Mark Skeet, and that was God. And he said he needed a video. I said, okay. And in that process, I understood through it. I didn't understand. I understood that I was just selling, but I always could tell stories because I would write in creative writing. So the fact that I would create things in creative writing, and then when I got R&B videos like Avant and stuff like that, it got me a chance to tell stories. So you could tell it. You could tell, people could tell, oh, he could tell a story. God rest the God, Carl Craig, producer of, House Party, good friend of mine. I worked for his company for a while, and first thing he said to me, he was like, man, you're going to be a good filmmaker. And I was like, how you know? He said, because that Avant video is a 4-minute story. That actually tells you it's not all over the place. Boom. And he said, if you could tell a story in 4 minutes, imagine what you could do in an hour and a half. On an hour. So I took that into consideration, and that even helped me write treatments even better because of, that feedback he got. So when they came to me, a guy named BJ, who I actually went to Sunday school with, he came to me, and this was like at the height of my music video career. Like I was knocking shit out, like, literally 4 or 5 jobs a week I would do. Like, can't touch this, like line them up, knock them down. And I was in Def Jam picking up a check, and he came to me, he said, yo, you know Preem? I was like, nah, heard of him, but nah, I don't know. Yo, you got a minute? So I said, yeah. I knew BJ from Sunday school. So we went in, and he was there. And the first time I met him, and he said, hey, what's going on? I'm Preem. How you doing? I'm cool. And he goes, so you the one BJ was telling me about, can probably do this movie. I was like, what movie is that? And then he was like, Crime Partners. I said, oh, Crime Partners. He said, yeah, you read the book? I said, who hasn't read Crime Partners?
Exactly.
He said, yeah, I was reading.
Kind of going through it like this.
Yeah, I read that, as an adolescent. So he said, well, we're trying to do a movie. What do you think, movie could be done like that for, And he told me he had 200,000. I was like, you might need a little more than that. I said, but I'm on my way to LA. Send me the script. I'll read it. I read the books. I was like, how much different can it be? And I read the script. When I read the script, I quickly realized, and because you understand, I come from music videos where I was shooting for no money. So, but I was getting them done because I understood. I figured out really quick. I can't afford a fan. I'm gonna just get a cardboard. It's my fan. You don't know the difference when the hair blowing. You don't know whether it's the fan or a cardboard, right? That's called behind the scenes. So I had done so many music videos at the time that for the budget he wanted to do the movie for, I had that money in the bank. Like he couldn't even afford to pay me, and I did a deal with him. I said, "You pay me back in money, and I'll do the movie." And we did a barter system. So we went out. And I remember him saying, well, what makes you think you could do this movie if everybody else said no? I said, well, I'm the only person you met with this talent. And so long story short, I shot his movie in 17 days on film. And, the editor was like, there's no way you've never done a movie before. And I said, I've never done a movie. I've only done music videos. But this is different. I said, well, God doesn't make one special person. I told him, God doesn't make one special person. He makes everybody special, but he gives us all the genius. It's up to you to find the genius. My genius is I can tell stories. Simple as that. There's no explanation to it. I can't sit here and say, this whole, everybody has a genius. You know what I'm saying? And we all have these different talents, and them talents are survival. But then you have that one genius that every time you hit it, something out of that, is your thing. And so telling stories and doing film is really my genius. It just took me longer to get here to some people because I didn't understand it. But when I go back I needed a credit, and I took photography because I needed a credit. Everything else I passed. I go back to my teacher in English 8 creative was like, man, you should be a writer. And I'm like, I'm just trying to get the hell out of high school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's creative writing. So write something creative, And I remember I aced an exam because she told half the class, write a lie and make it seem like the truth. And then write the truth to make it seem like a lie. And I was part of the class that had to write the lie to make it seem like the truth. And I don't know why everybody in my class believed that I was born in South Dakota. It was the furthest thing from the truth. But you can imagine, right? And I just wrote this shit, and everybody believed it, and even she believed the shit. And when I said it's a lie, I ain't never been to. I said the only place I've been is upstate New York to Harlem. And the class bust out laughing. You know what I'm saying? And one kid in the class knew me from elementary school. He was like, yo, you had me fooled. He said, I've been knowing you all our life. And I was like, this South Dakota? I didn't know that. So, but you don't look at that as a younger person as just look at it as life. But then as I got older and I was able to sit back in my purpose and think about things and start to evaluate my life on the whole. As you get older, you start to look back. You start to evaluate your life from where you came from to where you are now. And I started to realize that was God's plan.
Shit.
It was his plan. Me getting locked up as a young kid, that was his plan. Me playing football and get out of the hood, that was his plan. But it was never his plan for me to play professional. Me going to English 8 and becoming and excelling, that was his plan. Me developing my eye my senior year in high school because I just needed a credit. They didn't know why because I passed all my majors. That was part of God's plan. Me running into my high school friend who'd been friends since he came to this country from 8 in 93 on the elevator. He was on the escalator when he seen me. That's God's plan. You see, I've been winning since I've been born because I was born to a Jamaican immigrant and my grandmother took me instead of letting me be put up for adoption. It's all God's plan. It's just his design. Sometimes we think it's not. And that's how and sometimes it's hard for us to grasp a hold of it because we want things to go one way. And when they don't go that one way, we force it. And then when we force it, we regret forcing it. We should just let it go. And you know what's crazy? I didn't learn that until this last movie. I didn't totally embrace it until I did this last movie. And man, when God working, that's all it is. And that's why I'm able to tell stories. That's why I realized in music videos I can do them in my sleep because it's about selling you. But over here I can tell stories, and I can tell stories that move the culture forward. I could also help move the culture forward. Because you work with a lot of artists, and I hate to go back to Curtis, but they're not as smart as him. They don't understand their worth.
Right.
And when you don't understand your worth, guess what? You're never going to get paid your worth. You're never, ever, 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 ever. There's a line in Freelancers when Al Pacino asks Curtis, how much they pay you on this job? $28,000 a year. How much is your life worth? So you put your life on the line for $28,000 a year.
Right.
But I'm offering you to make $500,000 over here. All you gotta do is turn your head. How much is your life worth? So when I hear actors go, oh, they don't pay me my worth, because you don't even know your worth.
Right.
Your worth is priceless. Put a worth on a human being. This is the problem why we got human trafficking and all this other dumb shit, because you allow people to put a worth on you. We're priceless. And when we're this color, with the talent we possess, right? We multiply talented.
Yeah.
And none of that could be our genius, but we can do it. And if you're a Gemini, you totally tune into that.
100%.
You be like, yeah, I can do that. That's kind of easy. You get bored with it after a while.
Right.
But
Right.
we are the most expensive drug in the world. We are addictive. And I just understood it. And once I understood I could tell stories that people can't tell. You know why? I come from the hood, but I've been in the hotel in Beverly Hills. But them people in Beverly Hills have never been to South Jamaica. They ain't never been to Compton. They ain't never been to Long Beach. They ain't never been to Laventille in Trinidad. They ain't never been to my hometown of Franklin Town. They ain't never been to Jamestown. They ain't never been to St. They ain't never been these places we've been, but we've been where they been. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been across the pond. Because where we come from, we strive to get out of our environment and go other places and see what the world has to offer. Where they come from, they don't have to strive for shit.
Mm-hmm.
That gives them the world the world teachings like we have as Black people,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we trying to achieve a goal. We trying to get out of the poverty situation we're in, and in order to get out of the poverty situation, it takes us to go and sit in places like the Lions Gates, rub elbows with the Steves, you know, and everybody else. Why? Because we don't want to live in that situation. In the community we come from, unfortunately, they don't give a fuck about us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They want to be you. And sometimes they don't have to have as much as you have. They can have more than you.
Mm-hmm.
They still want to be you because they're not you. They like your name. And because they name it your name and your name is cool, they don't like you. Oh, his name is Bone. Oh, that nigga. Nigga. Here go this nigga Bone. This nigga ain't got no Bentley like me. But guess what? He don't need the Bentley.
No.
Because he got something you don't got. He got the it factor. And once you realize your it factor, game over. Once you put your biggest hater to bed, which is us a lot of times, we doubt ourselves.
No. That's true. So I'm gonna ask you this next question. This is something that we ask everybody that comes on this platform, and you're no different. You know, tomorrow's not promised.
Nope.
Anything can happen to us in the blink of an eye. Once you leave this earth, what would you want your legacy to be known for?
No, legacy is something I always think about. And to be honest with you, I have 4 kids. I was blessed with 2 boys and 2 girls. I have a 7-year-old daughter. And so for me, I would like to leave a legacy where they don't have to have the struggles that I've had, you know, and I leave them with the one thing that you can't, you know, that you'll take to your grave with you. The only thing you take to your grave with you is you can't take no riches, you can't take nothing. If you take a good name to your grave, then your kids, because I believe in the sins of the father weigh on the children.
Mm-hmm.
So I try and I practice not to do things to folks, even when I've had some things done to me. And yeah, like Gemini come out, I want to retaliate, but I don't because I pray about it. But I just want my legacy to be out here, and I did what I could do, and I did it the best. And my kids on example, even if it's just one of them, on example of, you know, the goodness I put out in the world. And I got good kids, you know. I didn't have more with the right people, but you know, you know, that's decisions we make. You can't blame your decisions on other people, you know, because a lot of times we know what we're doing before we do it, but we just put blinders on and say close for the season, and later on we find out like, you know, because our kids are our kids until we die. You know, I tell people all the time, if the tree grow crooked, you don't blame it on the tree, you blame it on the soil it's planted in. And as parents, we are our kids' soil, no matter how old they are. So if I could change the legacy of my family, then it's good. And I think I've already done that. You know, I started from nowhere, you know, but when I die, there's things I've done in this world that you will still watch. Your kids will still watch. They'll still be a part of it. They'll still wonder who did that, who created that. you know. And so I think if I die, if I don't wake up tomorrow, if I wake up dead tomorrow, I'm happy how my life turned out.
That's dope.
You know, because my kids will hear positive conversations. You know, my 7-year-old daughter will remember me if I'm not here after tomorrow, because I make it, you know, my business to share and talk to her and have different conversations with her. You know, because
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago I was almost out of here. You know, I lost my kidney to cancer, so.
Mm.
You know, it's not a hypothetical question. It's a real question.
Right.
I tell people every day. I tell people every day on this side of the green is a good day for me.
No, that's right.
Because I really don't know what's on the other side. I heard it's heaven over there. And if
Right.
heaven is what it is, then I guess it's going to be a beautiful place I'm going to when I'm time to go. But right now, I ain't ready to go. Right now, see my daughter get older. I'm ready to see her graduate. I won't be here, you know. I want to see at least 4 quarters. You know, they give you 4 quarters, right? You get the first one from the time you born till you 20, and 20 till you 40. Then you at
Mm-hmm.
the halfway point of life. And some of us as black people, we don't even make it to the end of the 3rd quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So when you make it to the end of the 3rd quarter as a black man, you like, whew, I'm in the 4th quarter. I ain't even going outside now. Exercise? I'm walking downstairs in the house. Oh yeah. Too much COVID out there. I'm running into place, running into place. You know? Like, listen, man. Life has been very kind to me. Um, I have a brother, Neville. You know, I got that really West Indian name, Never.
Mm-hmm.
Never man. I say. And we didn't grow up together, but we know each other and we talk. And, you know, he was telling me one time, man, I'm so mad that I didn't grow up. You know, I'm your big brother. I'm taller. Your big brother, I'm supposed to be there to protect you. And we exchanging war stories about growing up. But I'm noticing his war stories and my war stories are different. And I noticed, and I stopped. I said, you know, it's probably good we didn't grow up together. He said, why you say that, little bro? I said, because I'd have killed everybody in the house. He said, huh? I said, listen, my father was a lot of things. My father was abusive to my stepmom. My father fractured my jaw. A lot of things went on in the house. But the one thing you wasn't going to do in my motherfucking house, you won't touch no kids. Because that's a death warrant.
Mm-hmm.
Baby girl, I'm going to bed. Love you. Good night. That was a death warrant. If you touched a child in my house, oh yeah. That same father that died with that gun on his waist would come home and blow your brains out. It was a no. And my house was so old school you couldn't even be gay. If my father found out you was gay, he would have killed you. He said it. He made an announcement in the living room one day. Like, you know how the king stand in the court. Hear ye. Anybody touch a kid? I'll kill you. Anybody is gay? I'll kill you. In front of the living room, just like that. Like, it was normal. So those things didn't go on. And I embodied that because people try to act like sometimes you don't embody the things that your parents have. And you do
Mm-hmm.
embody. You embody some good things, you embody some bad things. You know, I embodied the good things because I understood the bad things. And I understood they came from not him. They came from whoever raised him. And so he was only doing what he knew. And so I knew how to decipher the difference. You know what I'm saying? And keep some of he don't never lie. No matter what it was, he wasn't gonna lie to you. This is what it is. If you don't like it, fuck you.
No, that's right.
So I embodied that, and I think that's helped me. Listen, life ain't easy, man. But when I look at other people's situation and look at some of the things they had to go through, like my brother tell me how to be that, I go, phew. I take a fucked up joy any day over some shit like that.
Yeah.
Because I could literally kill the people in there. I threatened the uncle that did 25 years in prison. I told him, you touch me, you go to sleep, I'll kill you. I was 12. Something was wrong with me. But you raised by a grandmother that feared nothing but God.
That's true.
Herself. So when you raise like that, guess what? You come up as a little dude, and that's all the fear you have. God and me. If it's God's will, then it is what it is. If it ain't, then it is what it is. And I think I've always lived by that. And I think because I've always had that small faith, that small mustard seed in me, it just has propelled me to be in some places at the right time, you know. And sometimes I made not good decisions, but that's life as human beings. If we think we're gonna make every decision correctly, we're sadly mistaken. You're gonna make some bad decisions, you know. And the thing is, you live with them because tomorrow is not promised.
Right.
So how you live today is more important than how you live tomorrow because you don't even know if you're gonna be here tomorrow. You know, I could be nice to you today and not be here tomorrow. You know,
Right.
like I didn't know X wasn't gonna be here. We looking to go do a movie together, not knowing that this is gonna be the last time I hug this brother.
Right.
It's gonna be the last time me and him have a joke together. But this also gonna be him changing my life because in this moment, I'm gonna make a decision that's gonna change the rest of my life. It's based on my DNA. It was based on how I was bred. You understand? And it wasn't my father that told me, don't allow somebody to threaten you. It was my grandmother who raised my father. So, you know, this is coming from the ancestors. You
Right.
don't allow that. And I grew up like that. But here was an angel. It was God's last will for him to say, hey, this guy about to make a decision that's going to destroy the rest of his life. And the only person he's going to listen to is you. My son was sitting there. My nephew. They couldn't even say nothing to me. Because why? Because I'm the bull. This is how you handle niggas like this. I'm about to show y'all how you handle a nigga like this right now. This is my mentality, right?
Mm.
But, you know, the angel BMX strolled down the stairs after they said cut. He said, come here, let me talk to you. Nah, I'm good. Because, you know, the devil always, nah, I'm good. I'm good. And he went around and he spoke to me, man. And what he said to me made sense. And what he said to me, I'll carry that forever because in that moment, I made the right decision. And that moment changed my life, you know, and it changed it for the better, not for the worse, because it would have made it bad. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have been all over the news. Because I was to that point, you know what I'm saying? And he noticed that. So, yeah, tomorrow ain't promised, man. And if anything, I'd have a legacy that says that I was a good person. I looked out for people. You know what I'm saying? And as long as my kids know that, because you know the world is gonna paint you how they want to paint you. If we worried about how the world gonna paint us, you might as well go in the bathroom and eat the pills right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next? What's up and coming? What can we expect
Well,
from
I
you?
have a movie called Step Into Love that I'm gonna put out this year. That the posters, everything is done on it. I'm just waiting because my partner that's producer with me passed away, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a delay on that. Um, got some other avenues I'm working on. I was supposed to be doing this Black Rob docuseries with my boy Kyle
Mm-hmm.
Dawson.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Cal.
Yeah, we supposed to be doing that
Legend.
soon. That's a lot of stuff. I just finished doing this horror movie called Wine in the Woods, which is gonna be really good. Um, did it with some really dope sisters. You know, shout out to the cast from Wine in the Woods. My girl Steph from Canada. Look out for her. She's real dope. Dope comedian. Tabitha, Dr. Kiana. I got a doctor in the movie. Real doctor. What am I missing? Juju. Tabitha, Juju. Oh, can't forget my girl, Crystal Ray. You gotta check out Crystal Ray. Crystal Ray's real dope. Her husband is Rich, PR Richie, the
Mm-hmm.
rapper. But they really dope. They're in the movie too. So they came down, they blessed the movie. really dope. So it was like a really fresh cast. It was good working with like new blood, but they weren't new blood as far as acting. But
Right.
they all it was nothing but leads. It's a black horror, black women in the woods. A lot of things happen when you put some black women in the woods. But it's a fun horror too. It's a fun horror. And my brother Mark actually was the one who literally, because I had the idea, and then he said, "Nah, you should call it, Wine in the Woods," because I didn't know at the time Wine in the Woods was a national thing that the ladies do. They'll go out to the woods and they do the camping and glamping. They have the wine and all that. So I was on to something and didn't realize I was on to it. But I wanted to give something that was, you know, scare you, but still you could have fun watching and had an alternate ending to it that made you go, oh, they got us, something like that. Where, because black people, we different when it comes to horror.
Right.
They lying. We ain't staying in the house if something say get out. It's not happening with black folks.
Right.
Right? And when we see something, we don't question it.
No, at all.
That's what we do. We run first. What
Okay.
You didn't see that shit? See what? You took off. So that's what we do, And so I try to just paint the pictures that if it's black, I just try to, paint the pictures that we resonate with. If me and you walking down the street, I go, fuck, and I take off and run, you gonna run too.
Right. No questions asked.
You might be asking me what I'm running for while you chasing me. You ain't waiting around.
Right.
So yeah, that coming. And then me and my boy Dominic, we about to work on some stuff, which is based on a true story out of Georgia. Which I really can't divulge that right now, but I got that. And then I got a few other projects coming up. Got a gospel project coming up that I'm working on. Female basketball movie, which I kind of got. I didn't get the green on it yet, but one of my partners I spoke to it, he loves it. But yeah, just a few things that I got, coming up. Some things will happen this year, some things, and then I have a film called Twerk, which I actually got during the COVID, that I have to literally go back and finish. And I'm trying to make a decision on it. It's a really good movie, but I financed it out of my own pocket, which is a great thing because I don't have to deal with nobody. But because I did it during the COVID, I put it on the back burner to help some other things with some other people. Then I have a movie on Tubi now. It was actually probably over a year old. It came out last September, but it's still doing well. It's on Tubi. It's called The In-Law Gang. And that has like Clifton Powell and a couple of people in it. But yeah, that's old news. It's last year. But people can still check it out. They have, and it's a dark comedy. Shows you what to do with your in-laws if you ain't feeling them.
Right. Well, we would love to have you and Cal come back, especially when y'all do that Black Rob documentary, and we would love to talk about that.
That's going to be really good. I'm looking real forward to doing that because I didn't know Black Rob, but I've been in, sometimes you get a chance to meet people before they get sick and things of that nature. And, he felt like a good soul to me. Cal, we from the house. That's how we do. He a good person. Cal's a good person. Cal's good people. So, he was. We was down in Queens Day in Georgia. Because I was shooting the horror at the time, and he had came through the chopper, and so I went out and hung out with him on Queens Day, and he was talking about the Black Rob thing. And, first he wanted to do just a documentary. I'm like, well, his life was bigger than that. You probably should do a docuseries on it, to tell more. But because me, I'm into more. If we're gonna tell your life story, let's just go ahead and tell. Let's do a bio. Because hip hop to me is so important to the world that these guys are iconic. Whoa will never die.
Ever.
You know, I
Ever.
had I,
Ever.
I had an ex friend say some shit to me one time. I had to cut her off because Lord, I don't do portrayal, and you lied to me, and you didn't have to, like. And then she said, "Well, he dead now." I said, "Yeah, Martin Luther King been dead since the '60s, and I still got a damn dream."
Exactly.
Words never
Okay.
die. You got to be careful of shit you put out into the universe, because when you put
Yeah.
out lies on people and you put out bullshit on people, it never ever dies. And it's the
Right.
same thing with positive shit.
Right.
Whoa, it come on, man. He took a word that is universal through generations,
Mm-hmm.
and he got that one. That I don't care if you got one. I don't care if you got one. Your legacy lives forever.
Yep.
It just, you could do so many things with that word. You could do a whole movie called Whoa.
Yep.
It's just a creative. It's just a creative, and I think every artist has that. I don't care if it's from the Michael Jackson down to Mos Def. I don't care. Any song you do for Mos Def, Miss Fat Booty is always gonna be at the number one. Why? Because it was a song, and it was a song that everybody could relate to. Why would everybody relate to? Because as brothers, right? We've had those next days where we might meet, you know what I'm saying, like a Jazzy or something, and you like, yo, what's up with that girl you met? Yo, son, let me tell you about her. Now we got a whole day conversation because we want to know how you bagged or what happened with it, and you know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, somebody realized, oh, this nigga fell in love. That's what Miss Fat Booty was about. If you listen to the lyrics of the song, he was talking about a girl he met that he was smitten over. So out of all the artists that wrote for it, I was the only one that sought to understand it. Right? And it's just that simple. It ain't even complicated.
That's
Yeah.
Love Jones. That's Jason's lyrics. That's TuPac Play That Game. That you could go in the pantheon of all of the pantheons. All of those movies are this. That's the same movie right
They
there.
understandable. It's like if you go to Before I Self Destruct, you know, Before I Self Destruct is one of the movies that when people walked out of the screen and they hated, they hated, they hated the girl. Why? Because she did her job. And everybody could relate to that. People, it was relatable. He's a young kid, he's smart. This dude killed his mother. Yeah, who wouldn't want revenge? Right? But how did we fool the audience? Put a gospel song at the end. And what did the song say? What's the first thing the song said? It said, "Forgive me, Lord. Forgive me for all the wrong that I've done. Send me an angel."
Mm-hmm.
And everything he did in the movie, no matter who he blew, the girl threw the shotgun in the door, boom. And we
Mm-hmm.
fooled you. We went backwards. We made you love a killer.
Yep.
Because I can play with your emotions. Because emotional intelligence is something people don't even think about.
Yep.
I play with your emotional intelligence with the song. Because if it would have just went off with a hip hop, the movie doesn't have the same impact. But when it goes off and you hear, "Forgive me, Lord, for all the things that I've done," you feeling sorry. Because
Yeah.
the cause and effect for doing it was to make sure his little brother was okay. Right? That's called black cinema. That's what we lacking sometimes. But when we give it to you, we make hit movies.
That's true.
We make hit movies.
Well, it has been a pleasure to have you sit down and talk with us tonight.
Oh, it's
Um,
mine. Mm-hmm.
thoroughly enjoyed your your gems that you dropped, for one, because you dropped many on here tonight. Your stories, your just everything, and we are looking forward to having you come back.
For sure. I love to come back. Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure. I like you. My boy Born. I grew up with a brother named Born. Good brother. He's smart too. When's your birthday? What are you, a June?
Yeah, June 2nd.
Oh, you June 2nd. Oh, you early. Oh, you more easygoing than me.
Yeah, you close to the Cancer, so it's gonna be a wreck
No,
out.
I'm not close to Cancer at all. I'm early too. I'm June 10th.
Are you on the 10th?
Yeah, I'm June
That's
10th.
that's the day Marcus Garvey transition. June 10th.
Yeah, I'm
Flesh and Bone. You and Flesh and Bone got the same birthday.
yeah, me. Yeah, I actually I did his solo video for him.
Crazy.
We found out that day when we were shooting it.
Yeah, crazy is the week after the 17th, day after
Mhm.
TuPac.
Yeah.
No, I know my Gemini gang. We up in here.
Our birthday is exactly the same day, me and him. Yeah, I shot the Bone video. That bone. Let me get it twisted, man.
Yeah,
I shot that for him. But yeah, I'm more of a. He like me too. We more violent Geminis.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mellow. You get pissed, but we a handful. We a handful.
I'll let you have it.
I mean, listen. You know, I tell people, man, you never can make progress till you're honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, but our environment dictates a lot of who we are too. You know, I think sometimes when you're born and, you know, it's your soul and things of that nature. Like I tell people all the time, Geminis, man, get your shirt off our back. Don't cross us. You get on the wrong side. You get on the wrong side of evil, boy.
It's done with.
We'll wait till you 99 years old, kick your wheelchair down the stairs.
Look and see who all the serial killers is. The majority of them. Right? So,
Geminis and Pisces.
Yeah. Oh, Pisces are very creative. Pisces are more detailed people.
We are.
Yeah. Geminis don't give a fuck. I don't care. Fuck it. It works.
Yeah. Right.
Pisces, no, the detail. The detail. Geminis are more like, well, just think it out. If you came in, you had to walk through the hall to get here. Right. Pisces like, let's make them before they walk through the hall. You're like, we like, fuck the hall.
Look, you just described a whole conversation of me and my brother here born on a day-to-day basis.
I know I grew, man, look. My stepmom was a Pisces. My stepmom wrote 3 books. She's just married to a piece of shit. Life is life. You know, unfortunate. And her life couldn't get no better. I mean, she was born into, you know, like, she told me stories from when she was, people always never understood why I forgave her, you know, for things she did when I was a kid. But as I got older, I understood that it was part of her survival mechanism to lie and do shit like that. You know, you don't understand the depth of abuse sometimes until you get older and you look back and you go, fuck, man.
Yeah. That's
you
true.
know, like, wow. You know, some of that shit was a blessing.
Yeah.
That she lied on me. Got to go to the psychiatrist every Wednesday for free. Back then, you're not thinking about it. When you think back about the conversations, you go, phew.
Yeah.
She actually thought she was saving her own ass from getting the ass whooped by lying on me, but her lying on me actually saved my ass. So
that's crazy.
You know, I'll be out every Wednesday.
Oh, we ain't.
Please, General Hospital. Talking to the so it's a lot of blessings in it, man. But all right.
Blessings to you. You have been a blessing to the culture. You have been a blessing to the community because your work has inspired so many of us. So let me be the first to thank you. And I believe in giving people their flowers, especially born as well. We believe in giving people their flowers while they're here, not after they're gone. So thank you for your contribution.
I appreciate you guys. It's good to be acknowledged.
And for the record, those two can call me Born. Y'all cannot. Okay, my name is Knowledge Born Allah. Don't get it twisted up when you see me.
Okay, Knowledge. So
running up on me like it.
So I gotta call you Knowledge Born Allah. I gotta call you the whole thing.
You can just call me Knowledge. You good?
Oh, now okay. Listen, now I respect that because sometimes people will call me Jesse. I'll be like, nope. My name is Jesses. They be like, what is it? No, it's a Jesses.
That's it. You gotta let them know.
You gotta let them know. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna
let
let
them
In the
know.
words of Marlo, my name is my name. You understand?
Okay.
What I'm saying? My name was in the street. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Period.
don't call me late for dinner.
Now
Never.
look, y'all, we about to get on out of here.
All right,
Y'all,
it's a pleasure.
next Monday, y'all check back in with us. We got another guest, but I'll drop that information shortly. I am your host, Jazzy J, and my co-host here, Knowledge Born Allah.
Hold up.
We out of here, y'all. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you. I'll talk to you
Peace.
later. Be good. I'll talk to you later.